Hello, 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 and welcome to this final boss fight stream with Clappy Von Trapp and
Hello.
Sean
Oh, hello.
and Eloise.
Maybe.
Who is muted?
Sorry. Hi.
Eloise, who was probably coughing.
I said such a nice hello as well.
And Sean.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
And Tanny.
Elbow.
And we are here to play some more D&D Spelljammer Academy times. Previously, actually, does one of you guys want to do the recap?
No.
No.
Well,
I
Ask a
I
question.
I believe that was a volunteer there.
I'll ask a question, and I guess you get that many responses. Sure.
You actually got responses. Like, this is good going.
I mean, I got responses. I'm not debating that I didn't get responses. Just yeah. Anyway, last time you guys dealt with the orientation at Spelljammer Academy. You dealt with your first encounter on the simulator. You travelled around and got to know the different areas of the academy as you completed the little tasks that were given to you. Zek, you've started to learn the basics of being a spelljammer.
Yep.
The rest of you got a chance to pick up some weaponry. You got a chance to meet some of the people you're going to be sharing rooms with, and some of the facilities at Spelljammer Academy alongside the can't think of the last thing. Alongside doing an obstacle course that all of you found passable eventually.
Eventually.
We got there in the end.
I had no problem at all.
Having completed the standard lists of tasks that were put forward to all students on their orientation, you were tasked with one final thing from Bosun Tarto, who asked you to deliver a package to Mert the Merciless, or Mert the Moneylender, or the Old Wolf, depending on who you're talking to. A delivery had arrived for him, a crate that you were given to take up to Mert's room, as he had been entertaining dignitaries the night before, and was a little bit worse for wear, incredibly hungover the day after. You brought the crate in, and out of it burst a number of small, cat-like spider creatures, whom you very quickly dealt with after they also knocked some of you out cold.
I did fall over. Can confirm.
Thank God for that wardrobe.
Mert used his magical wardrobe to restore those of you that did go unconscious, as it was useful magic item that happened to be around.
And they also came out looking fabulous.
They also did come out looking fabulous in very impressive dress uniform. So that's nice too. But now it is time to continue your Spelljammer Academy experience, because today is the day. It's the official start of your academy training. Fresh from orientation, you and your crewmates are to report to Seath Azeben, Abizan, there we go, that's the right way round of those letters, the Spelljammer training officer. But before you head out, you have your first stop in the Academy Refectory for a hearty breakfast.
Hooray.
The refectory is a large communal dining hall with a patio found on the cadet level. It is well lit with a dozen blue glowing orbs attached to bronze-coloured rods in the ceiling. An L-shaped counter to the northwest is covered with small tools, contraptions, and alchemical tubes and containers. And behind the counter is a door that bears the sign, Staff Only. And as you enter the refectory area, you spy Petty Officer Winston Ryback, who I believe is a new character you've not met before.
Not a name I
I believe you are correct there.
Yes, this is a new character because I can see that you don't have his entry in the book of important NPCs. So let me fix that by switching the stream over so they get to see, but also sharing with you. Petty Officer Winston Ryback is a muscular Gif who is in charge of food service at the academy, and on the rare occasion he goes out on a ship. Like anyone who runs a respectable galley, he's a staunch believer in the 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Seems legit.
Is that a Treasure Planet reference?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You love to see it.
Correction. Actually, that's not. That's an Atlantis reference.
He's brash and gives bear hugs.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
He's brash and gives bear hugs so good that you think he might break a rib. But in a good way. Thank you for the follow, Rosie Dave. Welcome to the final boss fight party. Take up your sword and let's take this final boss fight on together. Petty Officer Winston Ryback's grey skin is usually coated with a light sheen of sweat, because damn kitchens are hot.
Facts.
So, does he often have like a Diet Coke on it? And there's like a woman.
There's slow motion. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look the sort of person that.
As he slowly removes, showing his blubbery.
He is.
You all want to see it. You know you can.
He is currently behind the counter serving up meals for everybody who wants food, which I assume is all of you as well.
Yeah, I can eat.
Yeah.
There are about a dozen other cadets in the refectory, sort of sat at various tables around the room in, some in 3s, some in 2s. There is one table with one person who is eating alone on it. His head deep in a book.
I accidentally just closed my game, so sorry about that. 1 second.
But yeah, there are sort of groups of people around, a mix of races, of some GIF here and some Thrakreen there and some ordinary humans in places, and not many, or not any other in this room at this moment, any other plasmoids.
Not that you know of. They might just be in a really flat.
Yeah, sunk into a chair.
Just hanging out in the buckets.
All of them have seen the staff-only door and have proceeded to squidge underneath the door.
As you enter some of the GIF look round and see you, and you can see like murmuring starting amongst that group of people on that table.
Interesting.
Fuck the god.
Rybeck Hoomst goes up to the counter first. Who is the first in line?
Yeah, I can.
He looks at you. Ryback looks at you. Beans or meat?
Beans, please.
He opens a what they call chafing dish.
Yep.
Scoops out a stack of what look like beans held together with sticky starches. Sit down onto a tray and hands it to you.
And shuffle alone.
I got my beans.
I got my beans.
Got my beans.
You know that this is one of Ryback's signature dishes, although he has never actually named it. Most
We're
of
going to affectionately call it stacko beans.
most of the cadets have given it the name, have resorted to calling it gunpowder chowder.
Gunpowder chowder.
I think we all know why.
Yes, indeed.
Hoomst is next in the line.
I'll go next.
Oh.
No, Lady D, after you, please.
Fight for it.
Well, we know who's going to win that fight. Probably they dark. They duck's too nice.
Meat or beans?
Meat, please.
He pulls open a different chafing dish, pulls out a very similarly coloured pile of deep-fried meat, splats it down onto a tray and hands it to you.
Thank you.
Meat or beans?
Meat, please.
Same chafing dish, same plop of meat.
Cheers.
Meat or beans? Well, don't all rush at once. Which one of you wants... Do you want meat or beans?
Well, ladies first.
Well, meat before... And hurry up before I think about it too much.
Splats it down onto the plate and hands it to you.
Charming.
Your ladyship.
Just imagine he pulls out a sprig of thyme and puts it on.
Meat or beans?
Both!
Okay.
Adar kind of sees this and is like, I didn't know we could get both.
He gives you a
Just wanna
half
go
portion
and
of
sit down.
each.
You don't want both.
Gives me both.
There aren't, as you turn with your trays, any empty tables. But the person with his head piled in his head buried in his books looks up as he hears Rybeck serving up your plates and sort of waves for you to join him.
You guys reckon we should go sit with this guy?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
I don't know, he looks like a square!
Suppose it would be rude not to at this point.
Do you turn slightly
I mean,
square
he
at
did.
saying that?
Yeah, the head, just my head turns a little bit cuboid.
So do you, Blue Black.
I mean, he did wave us over. He was nice enough to invite us, so I think we should probably go.
Fine, let's go to the unpopular one! And proceeds to walk.
He just screams really loudly, and everyone
Yeah,
kind of
I've
looks over
not
like.
tried, I've not whispered that.
As we get over there and sit down, Thedark just kind of looks at him and is like, sorry about him.
It's okay. Hi, my name is Myken.
Nice to meet you, Myken.
Myken Haverstance. Pleased to meet you.
My name is
So-
Thedark. Thedark Anali.
Zek.
Oh, that's weird.
What?
I heard you in my head.
No, it's just how it works.
Huh.
So you can understand.
He pulls out a battered pocket notebook and just starts scribbling away in it. Fascinating. It's very interesting. Yes. Starting out new as well today, are you?
First day.
Yes, same. Same.
So where are you from originally?
I originally Waterdeep, but I'd like to be I'd like to be a Spelljammer, but I'm starting to have second thoughts, you know.
Why
Was
is
it the
that?
obstacle course? It was the obstacle course, wasn't it? I think
Because you
fucked me
suck.
up.
I no.
Oh.
I I've been avoiding my other classmates. They're hoping that I can focus and get on with it, but it's difficult.
I spent many years alone out in the woods. It's definitely weird coming back into society.
If you call this society at all.
Okay.
I mean, you've
Awkward eating in silence.
Good soup.
you've relied on yourself in the wilderness for some time, Thedark.
Yeah, I grew up. Um, I grew up in high society, and when I kind of came of age, I decided that people just weren't really my thing. So I left and stayed in the woods, becoming one with nature. But it gets boring on your own after a while. That's why I came here, to try to make some new connections and just to see what's out there.
I mean, have you heard what they're saying they're going to do today? There's two groups of us starting. They're going to make it a competitive training exercise on the simulation deck.
Competitive, you say?
My only advice for you now is just to give it the best you've got.
Could you roll me a persuasion check?
Sure. That is a 14.
Fabulous. He starts to perk up a bit, and he tucks into some gunpowder chowder of his own. Not yours, that would be weird.
Oh, thanks for that.
Are you gonna eat that?
Tanny,
Yeah.
as Lady D is, I'm assuming, sitting at this table with everybody and eating their food. One of the GIF that you saw started muttering when you came in. Gets up with their tray and goes to, like, return it to the tray stand. And just walks into your back.
Like, shove me?
Like, you could think that they were accidentally, like, a little bit too close, until what's left of their drink pours off of their tray and onto your back.
Oh!
Oh, I'm sorry.
It is quite alright. It's an accident. Just be very careful next time.
Yeah.
Do we all see this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I was gonna say.
But, oh, Jesus.
you definitely notice this happening, yes.
I'm inciting him to see if he is an accident or if he did that deliberately. Most likely he has. But
1 second.
I will also insight. If I can find it. There it
the
is.
game master's private rolling something. I wonder what it could be.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
Not very perceptive.
You're very taken with breakfast.
You've taken a spoonful of the gunpowder chowder and go, what is this?
What isn't this? Because it's just a mix of everything.
You all look round and you are fairly confident that this was an accident. Fairly confident.
Can I, at least try?
Yeah, insight check.
My insight's like 1. Ain't gonna fucking.
Give it a go. You might
you
do
can do it,
better
Lady
than all of us. No.
That was so close.
You totally believe him.
I
He
don't know. Gleeblack's just tempted to bitch slap him anyway. No, he's going to resist. He is far too busy.
Raises a hand, puts other hand on hand, and puts it back on table.
Just like he goes to do it. He like brings his hand back. No.
Not today. Soon.
He puts his arm back, and then he goes, and then it just darts to grabs a pile, I say a handful, a pseudopod full of gunpowder chowder, and shoves it into his head.
oh.
Where it hangs there for a while.
Who here has seen the latest Ant-Man film? It's going to be no one, isn't it?
No one.
No.
Nah.
Damn it. Well, there's a reference there for anybody who has seen it. That you're all knowing what I'm thinking now. But I won't say it because these guys haven't seen it and it won't make any sense to them. But we're on the same wavelength, people who have seen that film. But anyway, Zek.
Yep.
You're perceptive.
Someone's gonna lob their lunch at you now.
You're
Yes.
pretty perceptive. I can tell this because I've got your passive perceptions written down on the screen for me, which is very useful.
Yes.
Thank you for that extension, Mr. Monk, person who writes extensions for Foundry. You notice that one, after pushing past, bumping into Lady Delilah, that GIF goes and puts his tray back on the tray return and like deals with his stuff, and then goes back to the other GIF that he was eating with, and they both leave, and the other GIF who didn't bump into Lady Delilah chuckles, not loudly but noticeably, as he leaves the room and the door sort of swings behind him.
I don't think that was an accident, or at least it amused the other one.
You also notice, Zach, and whether you share this bit with the rest of the class, you notice that a Thrakreen member of one of the other tables has gone and started chittering to another Thrakreen who was initially sat at a different table. They have now sat at the same table, are talking, and one of them, just like the one that was sat at the table to begin with, looks up at you, sees that you've seen it, and looks back down again.
We should probably just have like a bit of a sigh and then just go back to breakfast. If people want to try and perceive that as something, they're welcome to. But she doesn't make a big thing out of it.
I think
Adar's just absolutely amazed at the gunpowder chowder. He loves it.
Delilah's trying to like pat herself dry, a lot of tissues and everything. Pat herself dry.
It was like a...
I can help. Envelops.
Gosh. I just feel like Fiora's just like every time Gleeblack does something, she just kind of looks really concerned and like kind of afraid. Like, ew.
What?
Nothing.
Thedark sees Gleeblack's envelop Lady D and kind of looks over after he like unenvelops her and just brushes off her shoulder. He left some behind.
I'm rather put off my breakfast.
Why? Proceeds to shove the meat into his hand.
No reason.
Hello, Atomic Haggis. That's a
What a name.
name.
I
That is
know
a
that
name.
person.
Yeah.
After breakfast, you arrive with another squad of 6 cadets at the simulation chamber. The other squad of 6 includes Micken Haverstance, who's actually... I'm going to share his NPC information with you now.
Meeting all the people.
Yeah,
So popular.
heckin' popular.
Popular.
Nah.
No, that is Boatswain Tato. Let's go to Micken. There you go.
Oh, he
There's
heckin'
the
good.
Micken.
This is Micken. He, as you've possibly noticed, constantly worries about whether he has the right skills to graduate the academy. When his nose isn't buried in a technical manual, he's scribbling mathematical and arcane equations in a battered pocket notebook that he always keeps on his person. He has light olive skin, dark brown hair, and dark brown eyes, and short messy hair,
Come on, John, you can do it.
framing a round
Please.
face. He's wearing the same colour uniform as you guys.
Cool.
Little cutie.
He is a heckin' good.
Cutie patootie.
All of you gather round in the main hall where today's training officers Seath Abizin and Bosun Tarto stand waiting. Seath scans the congregation with his silver eyes. Their stern gaze shifts to a wide grin. Well, this is going to be fun. Tarto steps forward. Welcome, recruits. We are going to be splitting you into 2 teams, testing each of your skills and talents. The exercise is also a friendly competition between the 2 teams, with each squad earning points that will be tracked and recorded by the observing officers. That's myself and Seath. Tarto steps back and Seath steps forward. Each team of cadets must assign the crew roles to its members. This training exercise has 2 optional roles and 1 mandatory role. The optional roles are captain and shipmate. And the 1 mandatory role is the Spelljammer themselves. A team can have multiple shipmates, but only 1 captain and only 1 Spelljammer. It doesn't actually mention that in the book, but it felt like he would do that laugh at the end. So I am going to now show you the Know Your Role handout.
Ooh.
Know your role.
These are the roles. As a captain, the team member who assumes this role is expected to give orders to the other crew members, who in turn are expected to do those things. Ideally, you want your captain to be intuitive, sensible, fair-minded, and decisive. This is a good role for someone who is high in wisdom or charisma. The Spelljammer is a mandatory position because your ship needs a Spelljammer. This is a role that must be filled by a spellcaster. And then the shipmate is everyone else. So, talk
Does that
amongst...
mean I'm the only option for Spelljammer?
Technically, you and
Not
Was it-
anymore.
Clappy as well.
yeah.
Clappy... Clappy is now a spellcaster.
Let's go.
I do have
So-
some spells
Let's go,
up my sleeve. But, Zuck, I think you should take the helm, so to speak.
I'm going to say, alternatively, I do have wisdom. I don't know what other people's ones are.
I feel like
There.
Fiora would kind of want to assume the captain role.
You've got charisma for days, haven't you?
18 charisma, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think she would just
Like-
kind of assume it without anyone like talking about it. She's just like, okay, I'm captain. This is not debatable. Bye.
Mutiny!
Shut it, goo man.
Who's Goo Man?
Never mind.
Who's good, man? My name is Levi.
Oh my.
Yeah, Thodark, if you want to have a go. Do have
Oh,
a
no.
wisdom.
I think Thedark would definitely be a shipmate. For sure. Especially given his, he's kind of out of his element right now. So I think he would just kind of sink into the shipmate role.
Fair.
He's new to like the spell casting things. He's like, oh no, Zach, you should do it.
Okay, I can do that.
Do it.
I say I can do that. I can give it a good go.
I
That's
could
the
definitely
spirit?
roll the things that are required.
Question mark?
Tanny, did you have something you wanted to say there?
Nah. I
No?
don't think about. No. Delilah's like pretty happy of whoever, as long as she's able to hit things and able to.
Okay. Seoth will step back and, after a long pull on her cigar, Bosun Tato surveys you six and the other six. Each crew is to navigate their ship through a debris field on the outskirts of Collier, a sodding big gas giant. There you are to salvage the captain's logbook from the wreckage of an abandoned ship, then return to your starting point with your own ship intact. Tado levels a steely eye and says with a glare, "Intact, not first. Get the mission done well, not quick."
Okay.
I think we got this, y'all.
Mikan will look over at you and just sort of waves you and just, "Good luck,"
And you.
and then departs with the rest of his crewmates to his own, to the other simulation chamber, and you head to yours.
Cool.
Each of the simulation chambers, we've had a brief description of this, because you started your adventure here, but each of the simulation chambers is a broad circular space with a domed ceiling, the stone walls carved with arcane runes that fill the area with a bright light. Each chamber is equipped with a training version of a Spelljammer helm and creates complex illusions designed to test your speed, skill, and ability to work in a crisis. Seoth accompanies you into your simulation chamber, where Mr. Blip, the Academy's autonome quartermaster, is preparing some of this simulation. He hurries over when he sees you entering, his eyes shifting to a green colour as he's, "Hello, hello! Welcome."
Mr. Blip.
And he looks at all of you, then focuses on Zach for a minute. Greetings! I do not believe we have been properly introduced.
We haven't, indeed.
My name is Mr. Blip. I am the quartermaster of the Academy.
Well, it's lovely to meet you.
And then his eyes shift from this bright green to a bright blue as he hurries over to a table set with all sorts of magical gear and mysterious devices that you don't recognize. Mr. Blip hands you 2 pieces of parchment, a map for wild space that shows a route to your destination, and a crude sketch of the logbook that you are supposed to retrieve.
Deck holds out each one in a pair of hands.
Very handy.
Seoth then directs you to gather around the training helm atop the platform.
I'll do that then.
Take a seat, my dear. And he gestures for Zek to sit down in the helm.
Okay.
He steps back from the platform, holds his palms outwards, and begins an incantation. The sigils scrawled along the walls and floor glow brightly, intensifying as the training officer weaves their powerful illusion. Good luck, cadets! And don't be afraid. These illusions are realistic, thanks to my arcane prowess. But they are just that. Illusions, as he sort of melts into space. Blue-white lines form around you, etching the shape of a ship deck along around the platform upon which you are standing. The ship then melts away amid an explosion of colour, texture, and sound that place you on the deck of a ship that is shaped like a gigantic hammerhead shark. The ship is situated in the skydock atop the Spelljammer Academy. Scudding clouds fill the sky above you. Rules for the simulator. The simulation around you affects all of your senses. Everything looks, feels, and sounds real. The illusion is able to create the sense that the characters are in areas whose dimensions are bigger than the room. It's magic. Go with it. You can't sense that you're in an illusion, nor can you dispel the illusion. Detect magic and dispel magic spells don't register or disrupt the magic of the illusion, nor can they be used to find the creatures or objects that it creates.
Okay.
In the illusion, in the simulation chamber, if you are reduced to 0 hit points, you fall unconscious but aren't dying. You remain unconscious until the simulation ends, at which point the character awakens and gains 1 level of exhaustion from lingering psychic shock. But when the simulation ends, you regain any lost hit points, spell slots, and limited use powers.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sean. Zek.
Yes.
You are... Rule 20. No running. Zek, as a druid, could you make me a wisdom check?
Wisdom.
So, wisdom ability check.
Yes, please.
At normal?
At normal.
I shall attempt.
That was dangerously close to 1 on my screen.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster.
You focus your magical energies into the Spelljammer helm, and suddenly the island of Nimbrel disappears quickly beneath your ship, which passes through the clouds until the spectacular void of wild space comes into view. And you are in space, and you are piloting, Zek.
Yeah.
Tubular.
Oh my god.
At which point I need to double check thing. Bear with me while I check the appendix of the rules.
Please hold.
Checking the things.
Have you ever been mauled by a raptor at work? You might be liable for compensation.
It might be liable.
Yes.
You have to
Raptor.
pay.
This
It's
is
your
for the
fault.
This
Deal
is
with
for
it.
the raptor. This is the raptor game.
You were in the wrong place, and clearly the raptor is owed some sort
Yeah.
of compensation.
You wouldn't download a raptor.
You went into HR. You know the raptors are in HR.
Your first task, shipmates, is to plot a course to your destination and start making your way to where you need to go. You have a map to plot your course. I don't have a handout of that map. You don't need to actually see a thing. It's theatre of the mind.
The mine.
I need you all to make an ability check.
What ability?
What ability?
I will let you know. You have a choice between 2 things. First up, Captain Feor. I need you to make either a survival or a persuasion check.
Is that me?
That is you, Feor.
Okay. Fiora.
Feora.
Ooh.
Captain Feora.
Oh god, I just clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Never mind. Everything's fine. Normal roll.
Yep. Okay, you start barking orders, and your crew are inspired to listen to you.
Do the thing.
I wouldn't have done that far.
Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's
down
it.
the
You
what's
give
it.
all of the commands, and they listen and they go, "You've not done this before, have you?" Shipmates, Gleblax, Delilah, and Thadark. You get to choose between athletics checks or acrobatics checks.
They are both the same for me. I'm gonna roll a real dice here. That is an 11.
Tanny, are you there?
I am here.
Good.
Begging.
Lady D.
You're not saying anything!
You're not saying anything or rolling any dice, so I don't know if you're there and you've heard us.
I heard you as this gosh darn might. I think I actually do have an. Have. Oh. I do have an advantage. Still. Advantage.
Fabulous.
One.
Gleblax and Thadark, you have a little bit of difficulty with this initial task. But Lady Delilah, you are pulling on a rigging. Ship things. You do a ship thing.
You do a ship thing.
I have a quick question, sorry.
Yes.
How do you know if you have advantage on a skill check?
Most likely, I'll be telling you that you do.
Okay, fine.
Tanny's athletics checks, and I believe any strength ability checks have advantage because they are a big hippo person.
My athletics is at advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's the only strength ability there.
So yeah, GIF as giant hippo people have advantage on athletics.
Gotcha, I understand. Thank you.
Shan.
Hello.
Hello. Spelljammer Zektar. Can I get either an investigation or a survival check from you? And I would like to point out that you've currently got 2 successes and 2 failures. So
investigation or a survival
yes.
was that. Let's go survival. At normal.
To say that this all hung on a knife edge and that Shan's role was very important to whether you succeeded or failed, I'm going to say that now. That thing.
It was.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
But how did we do, John? How did we do?
You...
The ship catches fire.
Everything bursts into flames. You nailed it.
Yes.
You plot a course, and between yourself plotting the course and the captain telling everybody to do the thing, and at least one of your crew members doing the thing adequately.
Yeah, and me and Thadark playing Uno on the deck. It's all work.
They're also here.
Oh heck.
You managed to successfully complete task number 1, which is plotting a course.
Woo!
And you are now underway, and the Spelljammer picks up speed, and much like warp speed in certain sci-fi TV shows, or also, actually, possibly the better analogy is the ship movement in Black Flag, where when you are out of combat, you can go to like cruising speed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Spelljammers do that. So you have sort of a cruising speed, which you are currently at, but then if you get too close to any threats, the ship slows down so that you can deal with them and then get back up to full speed.
Okay.
And that's just an automatic thing the ship does. You don't even need to do anything for that to happen.
Love that.
Nazi.
And so
Not having to think about things.
your ship accelerates to spelljamming speed, racing through wild space towards your destination, which you know where that is because
We did goo.
you did goo.
We successfully plotted a course, you guys.
Did someone say goo?
Yep.
After about a minute or so, however, the ship returns to normal flying speed. And a school of giant space eels swims
great.
past the ship.
Get eels.
Each
Eels.
eel zaps the deck of the ship, which starts several fires on the deck.
Well, hell.
Lee Blacks, you're up.
Could I request... Let's start at the other end of the list this time. Spelljammer Zektar.
Yes.
Could I get either an Arcana or a Survival check from you as you navigate through the eels?
Survival. Go with a no.
Cool.
Plow straight through the eels.
You hit an eel.
More than a few times, but
You
It's
somehow managed to
Strike
reverse
each-
the ship over it.
it's
Each arm.
it's a bumpy ride. Shipmates, could I get athletics or acrobatics from you, please?
Acrobatics.
Parkour.
Ba-da-da-da!
Nice.
14 or 14. Take your pick.
I pick 14.
I get 19.
Fabulous.
That's a 12.
You get up again?
Okay. Once again, Captain, I come to the end of the list, and I've got 2 successes, and I've got 2 failures.
Ooh. What's it gonna be?
So, could I get a survival or a persuasion check from yourself, Captain?
Persuasion every time.
Say, never mind.
Bah.
Dice, alright.
That was close. That was 2 off what you needed, unfortunately.
we was robbed.
You attempt to avoid the worst of the eels, but also hit a lot of eels.
Basically, there was an attempt.
An attempt
Star.
was
An attempt was
made.
made.
You tried. I took an educated risk, but damn, am I bad at math?
Eventually, the flock of space eels disappears into the distance, and you resume spelljamming speed. And another
Yep.
minute or so passes.
Have we done anything about the fire? There was fire, wasn't there?
You've put the fires out, like Gleeblax and Lady Delilah have extinguished the flames.
And Thayduck's also here.
Lady D grabbed Thayduck
Yep.
by his ankle and just swapped the fires.
Thayduck just like looks up as Gleeblack puts out fire. It's like, what the hell, dude? It was your turn. Looks at his Uno cards disappointedly.
Yeah.
Oh.
After another minute or so at spelljamming speed, you arrive at your destination. Where you discover that the abandoned ship that you are looking for is at the center of a cluster of asteroids.
Well, butts.
This is fine.
Right.
Everything is fine.
It's a good thing that you've got a great spelljamming ship that can navigate through obstacles,
Assuming I can fly it.
or into obstacles. We'll see how that goes.
Zekta.
Zekta, we're counting on you.
Hey, it's my second time of flying one of these things.
Well,
It's-
just I vote that when we get our own ship, we have like a weird kind of like a cattle scoop on the front of it.
Yeah.
Little sticker on the back
Yeah,
that says
picture.
"I break for no one."
Yeah.
Uh,
Some fluffy dice.
let's start with the shipmates this time.
What? What kind of bullshit is this?
I don't know who's giving you the instructions of what to do, but
The reverse Uno card. You should have been ready for this.
shipmates, could I get an athletics or an acrobatics check from you all, please?
Acrobatic.
Advantage.
Yeah, that's a 6 for me.
Oh, they dark.
Okay,
I even switched dice.
well that's 2 failures and a success.
Let's go, Lady D.
No.
Lady D is reliable, is what we're learning.
Lady D is killing it. I feel like Fiora's like hell
They
yeah.
they get natural
Let's
advantage.
go.
Yeah.
Captain, I'd give you the options, but give me a persuasion check.
Will do.
Captain.
Captain.
Ooh, nice.
Sean,
Hold on.
Yeah, what am I rolling?
2 successes, 2 failures.
We're not good at this.
we come to you.
Are we back on a survival again by any chance?
No, Arcana or Perception.
Oh hell.
Perception.
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Oh heck.
Oh heck.
Let's go.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
That did a full on like pirouette then on my screen.
That did here too.
That's very elegant.
Uh,
Is that enough, John?
that is surprisingly enough. Captain Fiore guides the ship through, and Lady Delilah winches things, does strong stuff.
Things.
There's a game of Uno being played in the corner.
Pick up 4!
Bader just kind of looks up at Glee Blacks and is like, man, thank God for our crewmates, right?
We
Zek,
got this over here.
you're starting to get used to the weird feeling of the Spelljammer helm that sort of... You feel like your perception is coming from the ship itself. You've never been a ship before.
Look at that.
It's weird.
Well, if you read
Understandably.
Zek's backstory, they spent 20 years as a ship.
E-
um... Okay.
Have you forgotten? Or is your name Sir
Come on. Sergeant, thank you very much. No, that's somebody else.
How dare you?
You pass through the asteroid cluster, and you reach the wreckage of the flying fish that has been torn apart by the celestial debris. The wreckage itself is surrounded by a cloud of silvery dust particles that make it difficult to see into the wreck. So I would like you all to make me perception checks to see if you spot it.
I mean, I think me and Thadark just shouldn't bother.
I'ma try.
That's an 11.
Normal, because heck my.
No fair, my dice is...
Okay. Nope.
That's all he says. Like, yeah, nah, fam.
Next. Make another perception check, please.
I'm sure it's fine! It's on 4.
Come on. There we go. Ah!
That's a 9.
Let's go.
I'm gonna wait for all the other dice to disappear first. Right, okay. That's better!
My
Okay.
Alright, so everybody but me.
everybody but you and Lady D. Fiora,
-1 is
if you
ridiculous.
if you didn't have the -1, you would have spotted it. It was a 16 to spot it.
Oof, that fucking minus. Next level, I'm definitely.
Fiora, Zek, and Gleeblex, you all look into the remains of the captain's cabin, and you see the logbook just sort of bobbing. It becomes clear at this point that the gravity plane of the other ship stopped working at some point when it was being torn apart.
Gnarly.
The next and more difficult task is to retrieve the book.
I mean, we struggled with the normal task, so...
So,
This is fine.
Are we seeing this from aboard our ship?
You are seeing this from aboard your own ship. You're all sort of just looking over the edge, going, "There it is!" How are you getting the book?
Open fire! No.
with great difficulty. What's the whole breathing situation?
Your Spelljammer has a pocket of air around it that you can position such a way that you don't have a problem breathing to get this logbook.
Cool. Who wants to go for a spacewalk, I suppose, is the question, isn't it?
But whomst?
Anyone feeling the spacewalk?
I'll go.
Thanks,
Everyone
Lady D. I don't feel very confident right now.
What do you mean?
Lady,
It's absolutely fine. This is
I can.
Do you want to give it a go, Cleeblex?
Do it.
Do it.
Do we send two people? Just the one? What's the thoughts?
Maybe we should send two, just in case.
And we'll tether them aboard?
Yes, good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sending Lady D and...
Me.
Yep.
Ooh, man.
Spacewalk.
Yep. Lady D and Goo Man.
Who's Goo Man?
Never mind.
Okay, you're tying a rope to them. One of whom is a
Yes.
jelly. That's going to be interesting.
Well, he can just
He can make
shove
his
the
own
rope
rope.
in his own head.
Yeah, he can make his
Solid.
own rope.
I'm wearing clothes. I can be solid.
Your solidity defines on you remembering to stay solid.
Yeah. I'm not going to be floating around going,
What's
oh
your
yeah, oh whoops, I forgot to be solid.
A quote of that so that when he does at some point we can go back
Whoops,
to it,
I
please.
forgot to be solid.
Yes.
And other sentences I didn't think I would hear today.
Oh, you should have thought about that because that's
I should have known what I was in for with the Ghoul
Yeah.
Man.
D&D is the same place where I think one quote that I remember is I'd like to put armor on my rhino came up at one point.
Wait, what?
It's moved.
Tanny,
Yeah.
Yes.
Lady Delilah, could you make me an... I'm going to guess an athletics check to leap at the logbook with the rope on.
Oh, baby.
Would you like to know?
Baby.
Would you like to know the difficulty level of this check?
Is it over?
It's a 13, so you did it.
Nice.
Hey.
Let's go, Lady D!
You you leap out from your Spelljammer, your hammerhead, and you leap and you grab the book. And it's not overly graceful. It's pure strength, but you've got the book.
Yeah.
Well done, Lady D.
Yay! I did it!
Gleeblax, do you want to make a check to see what happens, or...
Just chaos.
Give it a go. Whoa, Jesus.
Ooh.
Oh, that was almost
That
the one
was
on my
roller
screen.
You leap out and you can grab the book as well. Probably
In
first.
In fact, not only that, I'm going to leave it until Lady D thinks she's got it, and then I'm going to extrude a pseudopod that's 10 feet long and grab it from
So evil.
Rude.
Just
So you now have the logbook on board. You retrieve Lady D and Gleeblex if he left the ship at all. I don't know if he did.
We sort of all have to like pull on her tether, like to like bring her
Yeah.
down. Like, come on, you can do it.
Come on.
Come on.
I'm coming! It's absolutely fine!
I just imagine like Lady D kind of trying to swim and like the gravity, like the
Yeah.
like
She does have swimming abilities, so she can definitely do that.
yeah.
You now need to leave the asteroid cluster.
open fire!
No, do not let that hand near the
Just
cannon.
blast our way out.
Absolutely not.
Captain,
Yes.
could I get another persuasion check, please?
Woohoo.
Yeah, persuade me not.
Ooh.
Fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Take that.
That wasn't enough to start Gleeblax.
Jack just becomes the cannonballs and fires himself out.
Required a 47 to persuade.
Spelljammer Zektar, could I get a perception check, please?
I can attempt. Perception. At normal.
Oh, that pirouetted the one on my screen.
Oh.
Lady D, could I get an athletics check from you, please?
Hell yeah! One more go.
Lady D, your voice changed.
Thaydark and Gleeblax, do you want to just keep playing Uno, or...
I
Back
would
to the
like.
game.
I would like to contribute. So,
Well, I mean,
maybe.
Feel free to make me an athletics or an acrobatics check, but you've successfly...
Oh, we've already got it. Yeah,
You've
we'll
got
just
what you
continue
need.
playing. We'll just continue playing Uno.
Yeah,
then.
Uno.
Uno.
All right, let's see. Oh, I actually did.
Thaydark does things!
Hey!
Oh!
Gleeblax just plays Uno with himself.
Yeah,
He split
Gleeblax
himself into
proceeds
Splits
two.
himself up into multiple little pieces and
Yeah,
plays Uno
Gleeblax
with
proceeds
himself.
to just put a pile of cards onto your pile, so you have more cards.
As you steer clear of the asteroids, another ship appears. Its sleek frame is painted in the wild shade of pink and is designed to resemble an immense squid. Starlight reflects off the ship's hull, illuminating two turret-mounted ballistas, rotating slowly to face your ship.
Rude.
The attacking ship
Relax. We might need you.
is an old but reliable squid ship crewed by Githyanki pirates. Having already set their sights on salvaging the derelict, they don't take too kindly to you jumping their claim. The Githyanki ship immediately moves into attack position, forcing you to... Well, Sean? I will now give you a handout.
Handout. That's not opening fire, John.
I will give you a handout with the details of your ship.
Loads handout into cannon.
You all get details of the ship. I just get a picture of the cannon.
It's like, this is a cannon, this is where you light the fuse, and this is where you put the cannonball.
Ooh.
So you have one ballista and two mangonels, and you can ram stuff.
Ram strat, best strat.
Oh, yeah.
Best strat.
Let's go.
I will point out that if you ram things, if you hit and ram something, you take half the damage yourself, and also come to a dead stop.
Ramstrap best
Well,
strat,
shit, John. Well, shit.
This combat encounter is going to work slightly differently than normal combat encounters because you're on a ship.
Okay.
Enough.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the map so that you can see the map. And hopefully you can see the map.
Good God. I do not own any token with vision in this scene.
Oh,
I've
why?
got no eyeballs.
I
Hold
thought...
on! Wild,
I got no
wild
eyes.
panicking mice!
They took my eyes. My eyes.
All players... Observer...
I like how we've just become all of the mouse movements just like gnats.
Okay.
Can't make a dick and balls in this.
I mean, you can. We'll just have to watch your
It's
cursor.
like I
very
go like
closely.
round and circle and another circle. Oh. You found
Oh.
yourself. Nice. What are you doing? What are you doing? That is not. Oh dear. I think you should see a doctor, my friend. Oh dear.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Oh dear.
That got triple.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do
I
that.
don't know if you're drawing the space variety.
There we go. We did it on stream this time. These
Oh, no,
the
they're good.
obligatory dick and balls and foundry.
I'm just turning off token sight.
Everybody wing the map.
We win the map. Ooh.
Oh, I can see.
Okay. The way this is going to work
Christ. Where are you going?
is
Oh god, it's huge.
I am going to ask...
We're all 5. Sorry.
I apparently
Just going
never...
to ask. Going to ask Sean to go to the naughty corner.
Yes.
I'd love to see you make me.
Yeah, I never said he'd be able to successfully do it. But he can.
You have to roll for that.
I would like, for a start, I'm going to put you all on this map so that I can get your initiatives.
Okie dokie.
There's me!
Roll initiative.
I'm in space.
Could I get your initiative rolls, please?
Balls.
An attempt.
You'll have to. Oh, never mind. Found it.
I didn't roll at all. It still didn't roll.
Ciao.
I didn't absolutely pants on that one.
Fine, I'll go on to the other thing then. Fine, Jesus.
Heck.
And then could I get, Sean, could you roll me just a straight d20?
Yes.
Oh, the day, D20.
12.
12.
I don't know where you wanted it, but have a 12.
So basically, what that's going to be is that's when the ship moves.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Oh,
The ship gets a turn too.
So the ship gets a turn. You don't move individually because you're on the ship. You can take actions, but basically your actions are likely to be things like man one of your weapons,
Hoist up the thing.
hoist up the thing.
Bring down the what's
Slice the Dubry again.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
no, that's not that. This one. There we go. I also should turn off the thing that is making it look at all of the tokens I put on the side. Sorry, I'm just going to move Fiora over here.
Oh, hello.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Are we not tracking Fiora? Okay, Lady D, you can go somewhere else as well.
Oh, rude.
Just separate you all out to separate bits of the map.
Beam me up, Scotty.
It's chasing Gleeblax. Stream view.
Oh, so it is. He's just running around the street. There we go. It's not tracking him now.
No.
Slinks
You
back
can't
off
watch
to the
him make a
corner.
dick and balls in space again.
Nope, nope. Yeah.
Okay, Gleeblax.
Yeah. No.
Gleeblax,
Over here.
your ship has the has a ballista. It has a crew of, or it requires a crew of 3. It requires 1 action to load it, 1 to aim it, and 1 to fire.
Cool.
The mangonels have 2 actions to load, 2 actions to aim, 1 action to fire. What would you like to do, Gleeblax?
I'm going to assume mangonels do more damage. They do more damage, but they require a longer time. So I'm going to man ballista.
Okay. So you run over to the ballista and start loading the bolt into it.
Yep.
Cool.
All while I flip off the other ship.
With multiple
Typical.
middle fingers.
Literally, I use my bonus action to create another, like, my pseudopod, and do that, and I also
You
flip
just
it off with one
become
hand.
a ball of middle fingers.
Yeah.
Thadark.
I'm gonna run over to the ballista with Gleeblax and start aiming it
Okay.
at the other ship, obviously.
I assumed.
I wanted to
Correct.
clarify
I-
because
I mean,
Directly
he
at
has
our
been playing Uno this entire time.
Okay, it is the ship's turn. On the ship's turn, it can move 35 feet. Shan, where would you like it to move?
What was the range on our guns?
The ballista has a range of a number.
120 to 480 feet.
Okay. I want to move. You said 35.
Yes.
I think we go here. We can still shoot from that range.
You can still shoot from there.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Lady D,
Yes.
what would you like to do with your turn? The ballista is loaded and aimed,
Yep.
so you could take your action to fire it.
I'm gonna take my action to fire.
Okay. Could you roll me the dice that is required for that, which is a D20 plus 6.
30.
That just goes wide. You fire and it just skirts past the edge of the squid ship. And then it is Fiora's turn.
Me. Ooh, okay. So. I think I might. Am I able to do ballista as well, or is
Yes.
there 3 people on it? I might run over to the ballista and try and reload it.
You reload the ballista. It is now the squid ship's turn, and they
No, it
are...
isn't.
Oh, okay.
They're not allowed to turn.
I just keep hearing squidge ship.
Squid.
Squid ship.
Squidge.
I need to double
I
check.
heard it once and I can't unhear it, so I thought I'd share it.
Squid ship.
Squid.
Squid.
Squidge.
Squid. Squid.
Squid ship.
Squid, squid.
Squid. Squid.
Does it mention?
You know, even this squid ship.
They also have a pair of ballistas, and on this turn they get to fire them.
Uh-oh.
What, both?
No, they don't.
Surely only one, that's just rude.
That I call hacks.
That is a 15 to hit your armor class, and a...
Well,
I'm going to say that does some damage to their ballista.
woo!
Hey!
Hey.
So to
That'd be
their
15 done.
to their own ballista,
They blow up their own ballista.
uh, I'm just going to put that number down. Just going to write that down. And then to you guys, nothing happens.
Hey!
The shot strikes the hammerhead, but it doesn't penetrate into the armor.
Snazzy.
So, Zek, on your turn, you need to use your action to... Hey! Tales of Gaming Addiction has raided in. Welcome in, Smitty.
How dare they?
Smitty and his D&D crew have come to say hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello!
Zek, on your turn, you need to keep being the Spelljammer to keep the ship going. Or if you want to do something else, the ship can stop.
No, I'll keep jamming.
So what I will allow that to mean, because I think it does, and I need to double check it in the rules at some point, you can use your action to move the Spelljammer ship again.
Ooh. Another 35.
Another 35.
We can just outrun.
This is
We
the
re-
point.
Are we
To
Reaper running
reduce
right now,
them.
fam?
Enjoys it.
We were supposed to get back with no damage, so the easiest way would to be not there.
That's fair.
But no, I guess we'd be fighting them, right?
Your ship, you've noticed, is faster than them.
Yeah, I was going to say that they're only moving like 30 feet. We can move 35.
Well, let's... yeah, I can't move the ship. Let's go 35 this way, because we can still shoot. Yeah.
Okay. Gleeblax,
Hello.
do you aim the ballista?
I aim that mother whole bird.
Sure, those are words.
They are.
They duck.
I proceed to continue whipping them off.
Yeah. I shoot the ballista.
Roll me a d20 plus 6.
So if I do /R 1d20 and then +6.
Yep. That hits.
Hey, let's go.
That does indeed hit, and the damage on a ballista
Shot.
is 3d10. So if you could roll me 3d10.
14.
You fire the ballista back, and similarly you see it sink into their ship, but it doesn't seem to be slowing them.
Okay.
It's the Hammerhead's turn. Are you going to just move 35 towards the edge of the map?
Yes.
Why not?
I realise I probably could have done the movement on that one.
Yes.
But yes, John's driving now.
Lady Delilah,
Or law.
do you reload the ballista?
Are we still trying to attack? Or are we like...
Yeah, we can shoot backwards.
Yeah, we can shoot
little column A,
backwards,
little column B.
Okay. I'd like to try and give it a go. So it's a...
You didn't roll anything, you just load it.
Okay, so that's just... Oh, because they take...
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I can to load, I can do aim, and I
It takes three actions to get it prepared, so it's looping through who gets to do which thing, because there's 4 of you doing it.
Right. So,
You load.
I'm loading.
Fiora.
I aim.
Oh, sorry, Tanny. What was that?
I'm just standing here and looking pretty.
You load the
Very
ballista,
pretty.
and you stand next to it, and you look pretty, and Fiora aims it.
I imagine.
For my reaction, I want to move my clipping off towards Lady D as they go.
I just imagine Lady D loading it and then looking over at Fiora and just giving a big toothy smile, like.
They move up, and they aim to fire their ballista. The first one is a
That was nearly a 3. Come on.
23 to hit.
Ooh.
The second is a 25 to hit.
Come on.
So that is no damage. And
Yay!
Damn it.
1
Damage.
point of damage.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Alright, who's gonna get the planks out?
They
Yep.
scratch the paintwork!
I was like, rep. Rep. Reps.
So,
Yes.
I need buckets!
Emergency bucket. Emergency bucket.
Zek.
Hello.
Hello.
We've still got tons of firing range, so I'm just gonna continue to make distance.
Well, as
General assumption that you might as well shove them backwards at this point.
as everybody knows, once you hit the edge of the map, you're safe.
Well then. To safety!
Also, technically, you get far enough ahead of them that they just give up
Savvy.
and break off the assault.
Smart thinking, chaps.
Your ship speeds up back on the return journey. Now that they've broken off, you speed up to spelljamming speed.
Plow through a load of eels.
Yeah. Deals.
But then, too soon, your ship slows again, marking the unexpected
Yeah.
presence of something else in the vicinity.
Oh shit.
Dang it.
Ooh.
A splash screen.
The splash screen appears. It takes just a moment to spot another hammerhead ship in the distance. The other ship is severely damaged and adrift. Every few seconds, cracks of electricity ripple out from the center of its hull, dealing further damage to the ship. You spot the other crew of cadets on the ship. And it's not difficult to tell they are in trouble.
Sucks to be them. Onward.
We'll go over.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Zek, you're in control of the ship, so I feel like this
Yeah,
is.
we're gonna go attempt to lend a hand. They've not got anyone around them, I assume, attacking them. They've just got stuck, or
No, they appear to just... There appears to be a lot of damage to their ship.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You evacuate their crew, including Mikan, who spots you and is waving for you to come and help.
Oh, pick me up first. Save me.
Save me and these guys, I guess.
Those guys are fine. Pick me first. Yeah.
He's like, actually scratched. Oh, trying to.
No.
As you pick up your fellow cadets,
If anyone's an ass about it, I'm throwing them overboard. Just putting it out there.
I am so tempted because we did load the ballista before.
as you pick up your fellow cadets,
Like Glee Blacks, no.
the illusion around you ends in a wave of silvery blue light, and you stand within the simulation chamber where your training exercise began. Magical energy ripples like a turbulent cloud around you, reaching out to touch the rune-scribed walls, then exploding outwards as bolts of lightning, sending Seath, Tarto, and others flying to the ground. Could you all make me dexterity saving throws?
Oh, shite.
I
See,
can.
that's what you get for saving people.
Dexterity.
Yes, please.
About
Is-
a natural 20, baby.
I'm waiting for all the other dice to disappear because I'm not having them affecting my roll.
My.
Oh!
Hey!
Okay,
We can't do
you
shit, but we can save ourselves.
Yeah.
you all succeed.
We just do some sort of hero landing.
And you take half of that,
So 10.
10.
so 10 points of damage.
Oof. Fly half.
Like half damage.
As oh god, I've just seen what Lady Delilah's name does to the thing on the combat
Yeah.
tracker.
What happened? Yeah, I got to see that.
I'll show you later because it's a thing on one of the bits of the streaming stuff that I don't share on the stream, but it's interesting
Beautiful.
looking. Fiora especially is lifted off her feet and collapses to the ground very wounded. Both Seath and Tarto lay on the ground, smoke rising off of them.
Well, they're dead.
And you notice that despite having evacuated them, because it was just a simulation, the other crew aren't here with you.
Yeah.
Checks out.
So what would you like to do at this point?
Dadark just kind of stands up, brushes himself off, looks around, like... This is all still very disorienting to him, like the whole simulation space thing, and he just kind of gathers himself for a second.
I'm going to go over to Tarto and whatever the hell his name is.
Seath.
And check that they're breathing.
I'm
Because
going.
they're
Check
They're
as well.
smouldering, which isn't a good sign.
They are breathing. They are badly wounded. They took the brunt of it.
Whatever.
I'm gonna go over and I'm going to cure wounds on one of them.
Okay.
Which one looks worse? Which one's more crispy?
Who's more well done?
Probably Seath.
Whichever one looks worse, I'm gonna give them a cure wounds. And then we'll probably proceed to give the other one it anyway, but you know. Should I roll that? Do you want to know how much healing I do, or are we just do it?
No, we can accept that you just do it and it's an amount.
Okay.
Adark's gonna remember at that moment that he also has cure wounds and go do the other one.
Nice.
I'm fine, thanks.
You're not as crispy.
Oh, you're here. Oh, you're still alive. Oh, okay.
So,
I wasn't right now.
Lady Delilah will actually go straight to Fiora and just like gently pick her up, and now we can like,
This is why you're my favourite, Lady D.
oh, that's so sweet of you.
I will destroy you all. No.
This is why you have no friends.
My parents
Okay.
say that.
We
My parents will hear about this.
we need to get a bit better at not all talking at the same time, please.
Never.
Sorry.
So, Lady D with Fiora in hand, Thedark and Zek healing the teachers. What are you up to, Gleeblax? Are you just sort of watching the scenario?
Proceeds to cast inflict wounds on Fiora. No.
Rude.
I'm going to be going to is the door to the simulator open, or is it closed, or
It will open if you go to it.
I go to the door and peek out to see if something horrible has occurred outside of the simulators, or
You see that Mikan and the other cadets sort of have gathered at the entrance to their simulation chamber, and two of the cadets are sort of very actively chatting with Mikan in sort of clearly a way that they're newly friends, learning who this person is, and you can sort of ascertain that something he's just done has saved them, and they suddenly wish to get to know this guy.
I am going while that lot tend to the wounded and dying. I'm going to approach Mikan and Co.
Okay.
Inquire. What the hell was that?
Mikan looks around and... I don't know. That shouldn't be possible. The illusion chambers... The simulation chambers, they're not supposed to be able to really harm people.
We've got both instructors, injured in ours.
Something's very wrong.
No shit!
I don't know who Sherlock is.
Neither do I! Just a name that appeared in my head.
That's weird.
It seems to fit, though, doesn't it? It's like it belongs there.
It does have a nice alliterative property, yeah.
Yes.
Have you been able to have a look at your chamber, see if anything's wrong in there?
No! I return to my chamber and see if there's anything
Make me an
literally, not even like saying, I'll be right back to this guy. I'm just literally, no! Turn around, walk!
He will follow you. Could I get an investigation or a perception check from yourself, please, Gleeblax?
I will attempt perception. I'm not good with the perceiving.
You spot one that Tanny's just got back with this lame t-shirt they have.
That's a lame t-shirt, I hate it!
It's like a big corner of Saturn. I have no idea why.
You notice an odd-shaped metallic plate has been jammed into the wall.
That doesn't look right.
Well, it doesn't look right.
There's a plate in the wall!
Huh.
Interesting.
Hippo woman! Pull that out!
My name is Lady
Well, no
Delilah.
one uses my name, see Hippo woman!
Also, anything, Gleeblax. Jeez. Okay, I'm coming. So, goes to where Gleeblax is and is like, okay, what do you want me to do?
There's a plate in the wall, I want it!
Are you sure? Fine. And she attempts to try and grab the thing out of the wall.
You...
Still carrying Fiora at this point.
Oh yeah!
She's going to use Fiora
Oh.
to rip it out of the wall.
You pull the plate out of the wall,
Yeah.
and it bears a jagged sigil carved into this plate.
Right.
Recognize, or is it a sigil that some people might be able to roll to recognize?
You don't recognize it. Mikan looks at it and just sort of 1 second, runs off, and then comes back a few minutes later with another matching sigil. This was in the wall of the other simulation chamber. It's the same. Look.
Huh.
Curiouser and curiouser!
What?
Concerning.
Baydark sees all of this going down. He's like, y'all, I think somebody sabotaged our training session.
Now, why would they do that for?
Bosun Tardo sort of pushes herself up. Looks at... Can I see?
Shows the disc.
She chomps down on a cigar, points to it, points to the disc, not the cigar. That would be...
Look at this, isn't it cool?
See?
She looks to Seath. That look familiar to you. Seath's eyes scan the object coldly. Vokath. I should have suspected. It appears the Mercane's grudge against Mert has become a vendetta. The old wolf must be told.
Who's volunteering for that?
Don't worry, we'll deal with it.
Good, because the last time we saw him, we had to fight a lot of shit.
Congratulations! That's the end of this adventure.
Yay!
That's the end of this campaign. Now,
Nope, that's not the end of this campaign. There's still 2 more adventures. But you did, 1, successfully complete the exercise and score a full points on it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which means you are each awarded 100 gold. you also level up
Yay!
again. Level 3 now. It's a little bit. It's a little early to finish the stream, so do we want to quickly level people up now?
Yeah.
I
I'm
want
cool
to
with
do mine secret. I have an idea, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, Lady D, Gleeblacks, feel free to level yourselves up, because, well, I know you guys can do that.
But it's more likely I need an interesting secret I want to do with you.
Okay. We'll do a secret, Lady D.
Are you prepared for your secret, John?
Oh my.
Hi. Oh, that came out. But you know.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it's loading up now.
Oh, but
Okay.
I do want to go
Okay.
to where is it? They go. You can get some stuff with your credit.
The shop.
Yeah, I do want to go to the shop and grab a nice piece of armor for Lady D's her cost a little bit high.
Okay, we can look into that.
Ooh.
Fiora.
Yes.
At level 3 for you, could I get roll me 2d8 and give me the highest number?
Okie dokie. Should I do that in Foundry or?
Yeah, you can do that in Foundry.
Alright, so 2d8.
Sorry, I got an 8.
You're right.
I believe that was Sean rolled the maximum for his hit points.
Okay.
The other one was 6. That
Oh,
wasn't
for God's sake. I have no luck with this.
So that
It was a
is
4.
4.
I have no luck with the hit point roll.
You're up to 15 hit points.
Yay.
You also get to pick your roguish archetype,
Ooh.
which I believe we were looking at the mastermind.
I might need to remind myself of
Or
everything.
was it the inquisitive?
Let's see. Oh god, I need to get to the right screen.
So the inquisitive gets you ear for deceit and eye for detail.
Okay.
And insightful fighting.
Okay.
So ear for deceit means that you have a talent for picking out when someone is lying to you. Whenever you make an insight check to determine if a creature is lying to you, anything lower than a 7 on the d20 is treated as an 8.
Okay.
That's nice.
You also have eye for detail, which means you can use a bonus action to make a perception check to spot hidden creatures or objects, or to make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues. And then with insightful fighting, you can make an insight check contested by your opponent's deception check. If you succeed, you can use your sneak attack against that target, regardless of whether you have advantage on the attack roll or not.
Interesting.
Or what were we looking at for Lady Fiora? Mastermind would get you Master of Intrigue. I think this might have been it, because this is the one that allows you to mimic people.
Yeah. May well be.
So this gets you the ability to help other people as a bonus action. And you can help someone even if you are 30 feet away from them.
Gosh.
You can yell assistance
Really
at
far
people.
away. Oi!
Do better! Stab him! Stab him! Stab him there! It also lets you you gain proficiency with the disguise kit, the forgery kit, a gaming kit of your choice, and 2 languages.
Ooh, 2 more languages.
Additionally, you can now unerringly mimic the speech pattern and accent of a creature that you have heard speak for at least a minute, allowing you to pass yourself off as a native speaker of a particular land, provided you know the language they are speaking. Do we want to go with Mastermind?
Yeah, I think that's more in line with her sort of direction.
Would you like to pick a dice set, a playing card set, or a 3-dragon ante set to be your proficient?
What is 3-dragon ante?
It's like a card game.
Okay.
Poker-esque,
Okay.
I believe.
I think that's what it usually implies.
Yeah, it's sort of an
Okay.
in-world game.
In-world poker.
In-world
Alright,
poker.
I'll take that, I think.
And then I'm not going to make you pick 2 languages at the moment. We'll come back to the language later.
Yeah.
Because we will.
Yep.
Thaydark.
Yeah.
Could you roll me 2d10 and tell me what the highest number is?
That's an 8.
Jammy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That brings you to 31 hit points.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
It's so unfair.
Y'all thought Lady D was the tank.
So at this level, you 1 get Primeval Awareness.
Okay.
You can use an action and expend a ranger spell slot to focus your awareness into the region around you. For 1 minute per level of spell slot you expend, you can sense whether the following types of creature are within 1 mile of you: aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiend, or undead. It doesn't reveal their location or number, just lets you know that there is at least one of them within a mile of you.
Okay.
And you can also pick your ranger archetype. So whereas we had the mastermind, which is the roguish archetype, we are now picking your particular flavour of ranger. Is this something you have something in mind for?
Not at the moment, no. Where would I see those?
They'll be in the if you go on D&D Beyond and go to Game Rules Ranger.
Game Rules Ranger. Okay.
So your options are Beastmaster, which means you get a pet.
Ooh, I like those.
Probably don't want Fey Wanderer because that's to do with a different thing and you're not likely to use a lot of the skills from that.
Sure.
Gloomstalker sort of means that you become proficient at dealing with things in the dark. Horizon Walker is all about hunting things from a distance and sort of wandering, detecting portals and travelling to different planes. Hunter is you're good at hunting a specific type of enemy, whether that's a Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, or Horde Breaker. So whether you're good at dealing with one big thing or a lot of little things.
Right.
Then there is also the Swarm Keeper, that is basically instead of one big animal, you've bonded with a swarm of skittering insects.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll give you a minute to look through it, and
Yeah.
I'll go and level Zek up,
Sounds good.
and then we'll come back to you. Zek.
Yellow.
Yellow. Could you roll me 2d8 and tell me the highest number you roll?
2d8. I got an 8 and a 3.
That'd be an 8, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would. That's how maths works, and numbers and stuff.
I don't believe that.
That brings you to 29 hit points.
Oh yeah.
You don't gain a new power at this level, you gain new spells.
No, I did all the fun stuff previously.
This
On
is
my last
true.
level.
But I believe that the fact that you didn't gain a new ability at this level, a new power, means that if I go to the spells, you now have second level spells.
Ooh.
So your second level spells.
How many can I have prepared?
You've got another spell that you can prepare.
Okay.
You currently have from being a druid that you are, you have blindness, deafness, which allows you to either blind or deafen a foe,
Fun.
and gentle repose, which protects the target of the spell. The target of the spell is a corpse, and it
Right.
protects it from decay.
Oh.
And that creature cannot become undead while under the effects of gentle repose.
Intriguing. Okay.
The spell effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days under the influence of this spell don't count towards the time limit of spells such as Raise Dead.
Right. Okay. Intriguing. Oh, and I now get an extra first level spell slot, so I can do 4 first level things.
You've got 4 first level and 2 second level.
Fun.
Are there any second level spells that look particularly interesting to you? And don't forget, you can unprepare your first levels and take a second level.
Okay. Do I have dark vision?
You do...
I can never remember where to find it on D&D Beyond.
You do.
Okay. I'm half tempted by Hold Person.
Okay.
Possibly Lesser Restoration.
So Lesser Restoration allows you to stop blinded, deafened, paralysed, or poisoned.
Not be, although I can ritual cast. Oh no, I can ritual cast like locate animal and stuff. So, ooh, summon beast. Do I get a friend?
Yes. It's technically a bestial spirit rather than a specific animal.
There.
So
it's an animal of your choice, which determines certain traits in the stat block. The creature disappears when it drops to 0 hit points. The spell ends. Creature is an ally to you and your companions in combat. Shares your initiative count, but takes a turn immediately after yours. Obeys verbal commands. If you don't issue any, it takes a dodge action. Yeah, let's have one of those, please. That sounds fun.
One summon beast.
Yes, please.
Would you like to cope with that?
Okie doke.
Yeah, and a side of fries.
One summon beast and a side of fries. Excellent.
I got a quick question.
Yep.
So if I go with Beastmaster, it says you can use your action to verbally command it to take the attack, dash, disengage, or help action. If you don't issue a command, the beast takes the dodge action. Does this mean that my attack, I can either choose to use my weapon or the beast? Or how does that work?
Let me have a quick look. Beast obeys your commands as best it can. It takes its turn on your initiative. On your turn, you can verbally command the beast where to move. You can use an act. So yeah, basically, you can use your action to tell it to attack.
Okay, but it won't attack on its own.
It won't attack on its own if you don't tell it to attack.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
But you can
move it around.
You can move it around, no problem.
Right.
But if you don't tell it to attack, dash, disengage, or help, it will just stand still and attempt to defend itself.
Gotcha.
Once you level up a little bit further, you get a feature called Extra Attack, which allows you to make multiple attacks in a single action. When you get that, you are able to make one weapon attack yourself and command your beast to attack as a second attack.
As a second action. Got it.
But it's either you attack twice or you attack once and it attacks once. But for the moment, because you've got only one attack, you need to use your whole action to tell it to attack, dash, disengage, or help someone else.
Gotcha. No worries.
Are you thinking Beastmaster?
I was thinking either Beastmaster or Swarmkeeper.
Okay.
I'm still deciding. I just needed to get that clarification.
So he's either going to have a pet, or he's going to be covered in pee.
He's either going to have a pet or a lot of pets.
Warm.
Well, now that I've leveled those characters up, and I'll talk to Lady Delilah between times, and I'll hear back from Thaydark as well.
Actually, I got one more question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Under Swarmkeeper,
Yes.
on CN it says 3rd level Swarmkeeper feature. Does that mean 3rd level like I am 3rd level?
You are 3rd level.
Okay, so if I go Swarmkeeper, I'll learn the Mage Hand cantrip, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's the way I'm going to go.
Okay.
Swarmkeeper.
So, as a Swarmkeeper, I'll just read to everybody what you get. You get a swarm of intangible nature spirits. What do they look like?
Bees.
Bees! No.
Not the bees.
I got to roll a d4 to figure
You can decide what they look like. You can pick what they look like yourself, or you can pick from that list, or you can roll it. It's up to you. What do they look like? What's Thaydark's swarm?
I think... Thaydark's swarm would probably honestly be insects, given how much time he's spent out in the woods before coming to Spelljammer Academy. So I imagine he would kind of want to like regain that kind of familiarity and memory of where he came from. So I think it would just be a swarm of insects.
So once on each of your turns, you can summon this swarm to assist you in one of the following ways immediately after you hit a creature with an attack. So you attack, hit something, you can either cause it to take a d6 of piercing damage from the swarm stinging it, biting it. The attack's target is potentially pushed 15 feet away from you, or you are moved 5 feet in a direction of your choosing by the swarm.
Got it.
Also, you learn the following spells. You know Mage Hand. When you cast Mage Hand, it is your bugs taking the shape of a hand.
Love it.
You've seen it in cartoons. That thing that happens where the bees form a hand and then grab a thing. You do that now.
Nice.
You also learn Fairy Fire that allows you to highlight creatures and make sure that your friends can see them and make sure they can't go invisible.
That's nice.
That's handy.
Which is very helpful. We will look at what other spells you pick up again. Actually, no, let's do that now real quick, because I think we can do that now real quick. Because I don't know what spells... you get one additional spell. You only have first level spells. So you can pick up any of the first level spells you don't already know.
Okay, so first level spells. Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it here. All right. Let's see. Do. Let's do... I'm between Snare and Longstrider. Let's see. Target speed increases by 10 feet until the spell ends.
Yeah, Longstrider really helps your mobility.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Longstrider. Especially because, Thedark is more of a ranged person, so that might help me to get out of the...
Get out of melee and into range.
Yeah. So let's go Longstrider.
Okay. And so that's leveling up done for almost all of you, and there are secret things that are going to happen to one of them.
Love secrets.
Yay! Secret things.
But we will be back in 2 weeks' time with another Spelljammer Academy. Next time's adventure is titled Realm Space Sortie. And so we will find out what that means for you guys next time. But now it is time for me to do the sign-off, and Clappy, if you want to disappear and do your signing off, I'm just going to turn to the camera and say thank you guys for watching. If you haven't done so already, please hit that follow button. It's a great way for you guys to know when we go live, a completely free way that you can support us on the channel. We are attempting to hit 350 followers by the time we go to MCM Comic Con at the end of May. We are at 341 on that goal right now. So if you know someone who isn't following us yet, if you are already following us, please do let them know that they should be here and they should be doing that.
Damn it.
We also have a YouTube channel where you can find this and all of our other videos. Head on over there, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. We also have a Discord where you can join in and chat with us about this game or other games or just life in general. Links to the Discord where we discuss things like things that we're proud of, things that we're struggling with, and just generally Mondays, which we, to be fair, we all struggle with Mondays. I lost my train of thought. Where is it? The links for the Discord are in the chat or in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the section down below the stream, or on our website, finalbossfight.co.uk, where you can find profiles of all of these guys and profiles of all the characters they play, and written content and pictures and all sorts of awesome things over at finalbossfight.co.uk. It's sort of the central hub of this whole endeavour. But meanwhile, we have the following streams coming up. Tomorrow, Jeff is back with Brindlewood Bay as the murder mavens try to solve another murderous mystery. On Thursday, Angel is going to be playing some more Genshin Impact. On Friday, Jeff is going to be taking his daddy issues to Mars. On Sunday, we'll be back with Dungeon of the Mad Mage as the group continue to make their way through the current level of the dungeon and cope with the trauma of the previous session. On Monday next week, Angel is going to be playing some more Genshin Impact and yelling at the Genshin Impact monsters over on the Angel Games player channel. And we are going to be... Sean, Tanny, myself, and Ben are going to be going to camp. Summer camp. We're going to be doing Monster Prom 2 summer camp.
Hello.
It's more monster dating time, I guess.
More monster dating, more odd choices of voices.
I mean, all the best voices, I'm sure.
2 monster, 2 dating.
I just hope the space prince comes back because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I kind of hope he doesn't. He's a dick.
He is a dick,
He is
but he's
heckin'
fun to
funny,
voice.
That is fair. Oh, Clappy's live. Let's go to Xander. No, let's go to Zombie, who's doing Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate.
Ooh.
So go give Zombie Workshop some love. We'll see you guys again real soon. For now, so long. Bye, guys.
Bye.